we are to the pro wrestling roll-up here at TMOF Wrestling. Wrestling. Oh, the news. Ash has just broke. What a time to be alive.
No, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Right, so we are TMOF Wrestling. This is the pro wrestling roll-up. I forgot what it was then. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Thank you, everybody, for your continued support during the hiatus. A special thank you and shout out to Ted, the Hillbilly Heel. You can catch his podcast on all major podcasting platforms. Ted's a real stand-up guy, and we really do appreciate you for all the shout-outs during, again, the hiatus, which was on me. But we're all good. We're getting there. I'll tell you who isn't.
Who's that?
Vince McMahon. He's
What?
not getting anywhere right now.
What?
We should talk about it. Before we do, everybody, if you like the podcast, we hope you do.
Should do.
Probably don't. But if you do, you can like, subscribe, follow, whatever the lingo may be, on pretty much all social media platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review if you can.
Yeah.
It's not the Tokyo Dome, but, you know, we'll take it if you got it. Right. Big news then. Vince McMahon, after how many years?
Forever. 1982, so it's probably, I think
82.
it was 82, 83. It was around that time he purchased from his dad. So yeah, a long time.
Long time. Vince McMahon has retired. Vincent Kennedy McMahon has retired from WWE. I never thought we'd ever see him retire. I genuinely thought that'd be it until he was dead.
Yeah,
Until he was dead. Like, I genuinely thought that would be it.
I thought the
Go
same.
off camera.
It's kind of like when you see someone turn to another wrestling company, like when Hogan went to WCW all those years. It's something that you thought you would never see, and then when it happens, you're kind of shocked, even though even if the story didn't break out, I wouldn't expect this to happen.
Well, it's got to be obviously as a direct repercussion and result of the ongoing dramas with Vince McMahon. So, as obviously most of you are going to be aware, Vince has been caught up in controversy. I mean, that's never happened before, has it?
No.
Vince is caught up in the controversy of the $12 million deficit that was found within the books. And upon the investigation into that, it turns out that was the hush money.
Yeah.
To silence the ladies that he had intimate relations with.
If that's what you can call it that.
I think that's what he would call it. But yeah, all while married to Linda.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's nobody else's place. It's obviously, you know, cheating on anybody and cheating on your wife is obviously very wrong anyway. But, you know, what we're seeing a lot of online, you just said this before we come on. Hello, everybody, by the way. First one for a video. Probably should have led with that. But Vince has just retired, so nothing else matters.
No.
But yeah, there's a lot online, isn't there, about, you know, actually Vince is really bad, more should happen. But the reality of the situation is he's not actually committed a crime per se.
No, but the way he's done it is bad.
Well, there's no good way to cheat on your wife, is there? There's certainly no moral high ground in it. It's like, yeah, well, I cheated on my wife. However, you know, I did buy her some roses. I did drug her for Mania 17 and let her get a massive pop. And that was a massive pop.
Yeah, who thought getting a standing ovation for standing up?
Just for standing up. But no, he's not actually broken any law. He's just been a very naughty boy, has Vince McMahon. So I'm going to try and get some of the... I mean, this news has literally broken within the last, half an hour?
Half hour before we recorded it, yeah.
Yeah. Originally we were going to come on, obviously, try and catch up a little bit with the bigger pieces of news that's happened really since the last episode. And, you know, it has been a couple of months, I think, at least.
Yeah, May. By this time in May, yeah.
Yeah, and there's been a lot. There's been a lot that's sort of happened, and obviously, especially with this Vince McMahon stuff. But Vince McMahon has retired from pro wrestling. I just can't believe it.
Well, hang on. He's retired from sports entertainment.
Do you reckon he's going to show up in AEW?
It's a possibility.
It's not a possibility. Tony Khan couldn't help himself. He's already been on Twitter.
Oh, he has.
He's already thrown some shade. What was it he said?
He's the longest running CEO in pro wrestling.
Well, so, which actually isn't true.
Well, no.
Just because Vince has retired doesn't now,
No.
And I'm pretty sure there's other CEOs running companies that have been around longer than Tony.
What's Billy Corgan, the guy who runs
NWA?
NWA. I know he's the owner, but is he a CEO?
Ah, that's a good point. CEO, different title.
I don't know about like New Japan and Ring of Honor. Not Ring of Honor. Impact. Because I feel like people have been there for years. Basically,
what we're saying is he's a liar. I've just got the tweet up. Thanks to you, wrestling fans, and your great... Should I do it like Tony?
If you can.
If it's like... I'm going to do a Tony Khan impression when he's cutting a promo. Except I haven't taken anywhere near as much speed as I'm convinced he takes before he goes out. Nothing but love, Tony. But, let's be real. Bloke's on something. Okay.
$1,000.
Oh, yes, he is. Thanks to you, wrestling fans, and your great support. I've broke my neck doing that. Of AEW. I'm grateful to now be the longest tenured CEO in pro wrestling. Thank you very much to every single person who watches AEW. The longest tenured, which I still don't think is accurate, but maybe it is for CEO.
Yeah, but he's part of the wrestling business, so it's probably never true.
It's just it's a work, brother. Yeah. SmackDown is going to be tonight, and that's live.
Yes.
So
apparently there's going to be a meeting at the building where they're taping SmackDown before the show obviously starts, and I'm just interested in how they're going to do this, because they're going to mention Vince is retired.
No, they can't not mention it. This is a massive deal. This is a massive deal, regardless of what anybody says and what we've said, and all the stuff that has gone wrong with WWE, all the stuff that Vince has done wrong, and everything else. It still wouldn't be there without Vince McMahon.
No.
And you have to... We don't know the person. Obviously, he's a naughty boy. But we still don't have what we have today without Vince. And I think that does need to be remembered.
Yeah.
But to sort of rewind a little bit further than that, a bit earlier on in the day, I suppose this has obviously been happening throughout the day, because earlier on in the day there was the news of the new head of talent relations.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like saying there's a new person, also saying that Johnny, I guess, is gone.
John Laurinaitis is gone.
Out.
And now it's
Triple H. The door.
Triple H is... I think they said he's back in a role, but I don't remember him being the head of talent relations. It might have been.
Wasn't he for a short while? Wasn't it? I don't know if it was I can't really remember, to be honest. There's a lot of it. I can't remember what would have been worked and what wasn't.
I know they like when Shinsuke came in and Sin Cara came in. I want to say it was Awesome Kong came in. They were a Triple H project, but I'm not 100% on that one. I know Sin Cara was.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was so that would have been around about 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
11.
10-11 time. Yeah. Sin Cara was definitely 100%. That was a Triple H project, and I think I do remember reading about Carmen. There was a couple of others as well, wasn't there?
I think that's so. Yeah. Basically, anyone who came in NXT when NXT became what it isn't. Well, what it used to be. Not because the story was that Triple H was going to be the head of NXT again, and then that was found out not to be true. Now he's head of talent relations after retiring earlier this year.
Well, and same as Stephanie. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Stephanie had put a tweet out to say she would be stepping away from all of her WWE duties.
Yeah, it was a short period of time, she said.
It was a short period of time, I think, then because the Vince McMahon stuff had come to light shortly after that.
Which made me think that she knew this was going to come out, so she probably was going to go away. Not knowing that what's going to happen when it happened.
That's pretty feasible.
But we should say that she is co-CEO with Nick Khan.
Nick Khan. His name's dropped off the map a bit recently, isn't it?
He's literally come out of nowhere in the last couple of years, and now is CEO, part of the CEO of. They should have done a battle royal later tonight on SmackDown where the winner becomes. Do you remember when they
Do you reckon Cody will win it?
Well, he's got to come back with injury first.
He ain't going to miss the chance of that, though, is he? He wrestled with a torn pec, and he wrestled quite the match with a torn pec.
It was a very
for
good
all the rubbish we give Cody, but mainly you.
Well, yeah.
I think he's great. In the ring, he is.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
But it's weird because they brought back Jeff Jarrett, and then people were saying when this Vince McMahon story came out, it's great timing that Jeff Jarrett comes back so he can run WWE like he did Impact.
God, yeah, bring Vince Russo in then.
Get Jim Cornette back. Get Jim Ross back. Get anyone back from the Attitude Era.
Well, there's not many of them left now, is there? At least they're still active. I mean,
well,
not that many.
Not that many, no.
I don't know whether this will leave someone like Bruce Pritchard, because he was the kind of interim head of talent relations, I believe. I think he Johnny's,
might have been, yeah. I reckon he'll still be like the head of career of whatever he was before. I don't think he's leaving.
Mad, absolutely mad. But yeah, all of this. Who would have thought that the career of Vince McMahon as the top dog of WWE, an icon, really, would have to retire because he just didn't pick very wisely where to stick it.
Well, he's going to be the next president of the United States.
That'll be Linda now, wouldn't it? Linda's still in a.
If she still does political runs.
Well, let's hope it's not Kane. But
that's another story, yeah.
Yeah, no, not one we're not going to get into. No. So, yeah, what a sad end. Yeah. It's not really sunk in, so it's difficult to really we're explaining what's happened, but how I actually feel about it, I don't really know.
Well, I think because we're recording this within the first hour of this coming out, it's so strange. It's one of those. It's kind of like it feels like I really don't know. It's literally hard to describe.
Our childhood, everything that's the reason we're sitting here and talking about wrestling on a podcast. The reason that the love of wrestling is there in the first place is it was through WWF. It was through Vince McMahon's creation. It's strange.
It's
strange.
I want to describe this as a favourite uncle who just
dirty uncle that bangs all of the people in the street.
I don't know.
Well, we don't know who it was, and to be honest, that's all irrelevant, isn't it? Well, but it was $12 million, and I think one of them was a former talent.
What the rumor has been, it was Rosa Mendes, but I don't think that was.
It's all rumors, and regardless, I think it's irrelevant.
Do you know the funny thing is, one of these lawsuits was dropped, so he's got away with one thing.
He's obviously gotten. Well, Vince has obviously made a. Made a name for himself. Well, he almost has. I mean, he's worked it into a lot of his angles and stuff, hasn't he? And on TV and that. But the guy's overcome a lot of adversity, but a lot of it he's brought on himself. I mean, you got the steroid trial of '93,
XFL,
which would have been the biggest thing to have taken him down. XFL,
does that count? Because it was such a bad investment, like the bodybuilding.
I would say that was the bad investment. I think XFL probably could get some legs under it. And I think it may have even had a better chance at succeeding had it not been for the pandemic on the second time around. And obviously The Rock sees something in it to have bought it for however many million.
I can't remember how much it was.
It was a lot of money though. Not to The Rock though.
Do you know what another funny thing is? And it's something I didn't really think about until I saw someone write this on Twitter. Vince McMahon paid out more for this hush money than he did for buying WCW. Think about that.
That's mad. Yeah, that's mad. And that's not even cost of inflation. That's how much WCW was worth.
It was either like $4 million he bought WCW for in 2001.
Essentially, WCW was worth less than Vince McMahon's reputation.
I know.
Do you reckon Vince saw this coming? Do you reckon he saw the writing on the wall for this, or
possibly?
Do you think this
it
is probably?
It just feels weird that this is all of a sudden come out.
Yeah.
Like in how, well, with the Me Too movement, how like one story breaks and then everyone else says it happened to them. I kind of wish it happened earlier, until they mentioned it earlier, so then it would have stopped all this kind of things.
I think though the difference is between this and something like the Me Too. As far as we're aware, everything was consensual with what's happened with Vince, but it's just.
It sounds like it was.
I think it sounds like it's consensual, but obviously the money being paid out to people. I can only imagine that's what's kind of outed him here. Somebody's gone through. If you think, we speculated a lot over the past sort of year or so, even more actually, going back to 2020. But with all of these releases that seemingly for no reason, not for no reason. Some of them. Sometimes you have to trim the fat a bit. And WWE had a very bloated roster, and they weren't using everybody. I'd absolutely fine to release some people during the pandemic. Crap move. And the fact that it was like, and some of the names that were coming up were just like, I can't understand why. But
yeah, it always felt it was like.
But it's the majority. It's the quantity of people that have been released.
Some of the names, I was like, well, yeah, because they barely use them, and then But when it was like Braun Strowman, and then you had like guys and Anderson who were doing stuff at Mania, and then. Joe twice.
Joe twice. It's when you think of that, the only thing we could really think of, and the same as what a lot of people have already speculated as well, but I think it was thinking about him selling the company.
Yeah, like
and
Disney, wasn't it?
With Disney, and then obviously Nick Khan's kind of like really front and center at this whole thing, and Nick's getting all the heat for it, and it's all this cutting costs, and they're making record profits, and then you get outed for $12 million.
Yeah,
I don't know. That kind of feels like justice in a weird way, but but still kind of a bit sad about it. It's weird.
It is weird. It's
weird. It's a weird emotion.
It's kind of this thing. It's like we said, it's something you never thought would happen, and then out of nowhere it just comes, and you're like. A part of me was, when I saw it, was like, okay, fair enough. And then...
I think, but it's had a little bit of background to it already, because we've known about what was going on with the whole.
Wouldn't you rather he said it on TV or on like a video, not on Twitter?
Just on Twitter, yeah. Well, unless Vince McMahon has other people running his Twitter account, and let's be very real, he probably does.
Yeah, I can't imagine him being on it. I knew he had Twitter, but I wouldn't have said
that he was the one on it. And that would bring me to Buff Bagwell.
Oh dear God!
So Buff Bagwell made a reappearance in recent months over on Twitter. Seemingly has turned himself around in terms of his views, his opinions, and. I guess the way he sort of portrays himself, really. Maybe he certainly has, but I think it's come to light a bit more recently that it doesn't look like maybe Buff Bagwell is the person behind his tweets, or at least certainly not all of them. Which and it's apparently kind of a common thing. Not just for wrestling, but I guess for celebrities in general.
I've heard things like that.
And I believe that for like a lot of actors and especially like top businessmen and stuff. Tony Khan clearly manages his own. But, in terms of like, say, Iron Sheik, for example. Yeah. It's not all Iron Sheik.
No, because he's got a management team, hasn't he?
And I think it sounds like potentially that's what Buff's got as well. Maybe to kind of repair his image, for... either a return into the industry or to kind of, I don't know, get somewhere. Which I don't, you know, I don't blame anybody for that, but no. It's slightly deceiving, isn't it? Really, I think when it's not really that person that you're that's writing the words that you read. It's just, I don't know, it feels a bit wrong.
I heard about those stories about it's a different thing, but Virgil would say at conventions, "Oh, I'm going to be with $1 million man," but he never did. He just turned up on his own.
Yeah, and that's where the meme comes from.
Yeah.
Soul Train.
Did you mean to say it like that?
Yeah. Getting back on AEW, that's what I say.
God, he was, wasn't he?
Vince McMahon. Just before we move on to it, there's obviously going to be more come out of this, but it's just...
Oh, yeah. There's probably some stuff happening now.
See what happens on... Well, by all means, have a look.
I'll be off camera.
That's
I know people want to see it.
People want to see the face.
No, me off camera.
I'll see you on camera.
A bit.
I guess the fallout from SmackDown tonight is going to be, it could be massive, really. It depends if they actually turn it into something. What you got?
Brock Lesnar has just walked out on SmackDown. He was scheduled to be on SmackDown later tonight, and he's just walked out. Oh
my God, Brock has walked out.
Yeah.
I guess, what, because of this?
Probably.
What is going on?
He's probably another person like Undertaker who has a better connection with Vince than he does like anyone else in wrestling. So he probably this is strange day already. That might. Who's to say that Naomi and Sasha?
Who's
Banks,
reported that he's walked out?
There was a few. This may take a while to find it again. Cultaholics, one of them. Fightful News. But yeah, this is.
Well, this could really blow up then. So I'll be honest. SmackDown tonight seems very. Sorry about that. Yeah. SmackDown tonight seems very eventful.
And if Brock has walked out because he's going to face Brock's going to face Roman in the Last Man Standing at SummerSlam, they've got no one to replace him with, really, because everyone that could wrestle.
I'd be funny. They've had 8 years to replace a opponent for Roman.
I guess
I like them both, but
I guess if they could, it's storyline, they might do Drew and Sheamus because they've been doing number one contender matches for Clash at the Castle, which I'm going to.
I am yet still to buy a ticket. I've had a lot going on. I think I will. But yeah, I think that's a foregone conclusion, isn't it? We're going to see. It's going to be Drew.
It's going to be Drew, but
do we think Drew's taking it?
I don't know. It would seem like it's a good thing to do because even though he's Scottish and it's in Wales, they would say hometown. No, the guy from
hometown hero. Yeah. I don't care about that. I've never cared about the hometown stuff, and I know it's different, maybe in the States, but it doesn't really matter for me.
It's never been a WWE thing, really, has it?
No, so we don't really see it that same sort of way. Like, it's nice and everything, but it doesn't, not the same for me.
Just because
Regal, that's probably it. Like Regal would be. He's who slightly off, but this is what we do. So apologies for this.
Get used to it.
Who is the head of British culture in professional wrestling, like as a whole? Like, if you think of the face of the British culture in pro wrestling,
what, ever or at the minute?
Ever, of all time, who are you going to say?
Probably because of SummerSlam 92, Bulldog.
Right, Bulldog. Everybody picks Bulldog. I think it's Regal. I genuinely think it's William Regal.
Well,
longer career.
It's that, and
more influence on the business. And that's nothing against British Bulldog. British Bulldog obviously is, arguably the face of the British culture in professional wrestling.
Maybe it's because maybe you think Bulldog because most people fans in wrestling were fans or have seen SummerSlam 92. Maybe it's that.
So SummerSlam 92 was such a big deal, and realistically, British Bulldog was the only British competitor that was kind of meant something on the card, right? Or on the roster.
Yeah,
at that time.
Well,
so
Alfred Hayes was announcer, but I don't know if that counts, does it?
Yeah, but I don't think he was in the main event of SummerSlam 92.
No.
Hello, it's Lord Alfred Hayes. We've got a cracking match tonight. I wonder if he's going to knock the dickens out of him. I don't know. I just don't know. I've got a cricket bat.
I have.
I don't like cricket.
I do.
I don't like cricket. But no, William Regal. Anyway, Drew McIntyre, if he does win it, I think that will be awesome. I don't care. It's nice that he'd be doing it so close to home, but that's not what would matter to me. I think Drew should be the person to take it off Roman. Drew was the guy that carried Raw, at the very least, through the pandemic.
True.
And he never really got that fair shot. He got his WrestleMania moment, and it was an amazing moment, but he never got that in front of the fans. And I think this is as good as you can do it.
Yeah, but when they brought the fans back, I mean, what was Mania 37 with the
and he went
Bobby
he was opener with Bobby, yeah, and then
which
and the rain,
yeah,
stopped it from going on when it was meant to.
But what I'm saying is, he had his moment of winning a title with the crowd, and they didn't do it. It's kind of like
I think that was Bobby's time, though.
It was Big Bob's time, but I'm just thinking, I hope it's not like Jeff Hardy in 2008, 7-8 era when he had all these title matches and was never winning it, and kind of like with Thunder Rosa before she did, and it felt too late. I know Drew's already won a title, but this,
I don't know. I'm happy to go along for the ride with it, but I think Drew and Roman angle is probably what's needed at this point. To be fair, and I think this is where Drew could honestly take it. But honestly, right now the future of WWE is very uncertain. Not uncertain in terms of, is it going to close its doors? Obviously not. But like what WWE could look like going forwards is very different. And I guess that brings us over to the news that was announced recently of WWE. Is it WWE TV as a whole, or is it just Raw or SmackDown moving to a TV 14 rating?
It sounds like it's going to be pay-per-view as well. But SummerSlam is meant to be a TV 14.
What's a what?
Oh, the premium live event.
Oh, premium live event. Sorry, what were you talking about? I never heard of it.
Well, you said it first.
Did I?
Probably. Play it back, everyone.
Probably. So, yeah, but it can do to pay-per-view.
A what?
Premium live event. It can do to that, but I don't know, because it's different networks, isn't it? So I don't know if TV 14 will be Raw, SmackDown, and even NXT 2.0. I don't know. What was the Hulu announcement? Was it just
Raw and SmackDown?
Raw and SmackDown.
I don't know if NXT 2.0 is on Hulu. I might be wrong, but we don't get Hulu over here, do we?
I think we can get Hulu, but I'm not very.
Is it like?
I'm not very well versed.
Is it like what is it? You can get Peacock in the UK, but it's only on.
I imagine Hulu's kind of like Now TV, but I could be completely wrong. But that's my sort of. It's a streaming platform, isn't it? So yeah. Okay, I mean, TV 14. What could that look like?
Well, is it going to be the blood and guts?
Blood and guts.
Is it going to? Is it going to be swearing on TV like they used to once in a while?
Wow, someone's got to give AEW a run for their money. With the amount that they put out there.
Yeah, because I thought it was going to happen on Raw that just gone, and I only watched the first hour and it felt like a regular Raw. That was the PG hour. Apart from the only thing really that was a bit different was when Carmella called herself the badass with the fine ass. I don't think that's PG.
I wonder if I suppose you have to kind of take a little bit of time to transition with it. Otherwise, that could really alienate. Especially younger viewers.
Yeah. what was it? 2008 was the last time it went TV 14. Around this time.
Around about this time, and then because shortly, but there were like things being implemented before then, wasn't there? So like the blading and blood on TV was a bit before that actually took place.
Yeah, the last match I remember that had blood, which wasn't like hard way, was I think Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho at Great American Bash. That's the last one I can remember. That had to be a blade.
There was one after, wasn't there?
The match with Blade Blade jobs. I think Batista did one and got fined like $500,000.
That was Batista and Jericho in a cage.
Like a few months later,
and they got fined. I think it was Batista and Jericho.
Yeah.
So very early in, and I think that was kind of Batista sort of cited like he kind of knew from then that his days would be numbered. But I guess it's going to be kind of a slow burn thing because and I agree it probably should be. You know, there are obviously many people that enjoy the product how it is right now. So changing it to a TV 14 could be a massive jump for people. You know, and for right or wrong, I've always said and maintained, you know, like I'll watch anything as long as I enjoy it. That doesn't just stick at pro wrestling. That's like just in general. You know, time's precious. If you want to be watching something, you've got to enjoy it, right?
Yeah, true.
And, you know, the whole AEW, WWE thing and whatever, you know, it's not really about that so much. Like I said before, it's just the WWE products turned me off for quite a long time. But it doesn't mean that there are certain things within it that I haven't enjoyed. Which brings us to one thing I have enjoyed recently on the product was Judgment Day.
Is it because of the theme music?
I like the theme music. I like that Edge. I like this whole thing that Edge has done ever since he kind of brought on this new persona. I like the entrance at Mania was, I still think, one of the best entrances ever.
Yeah, it was a very good entrance. I did like the SummerSlam before last year with the
Brood.
The Brood.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was good, very good. But yeah, and everything from there, you know, Damian Priest really does come across now as a star, and he definitely fits that kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley was a fantastic addition. I think a lot of people called it, and rightly so, because it makes total sense.
It's a shame that she's got the health problems she's got in a minute.
Absolutely. And then this whole thing with Finn Balor, you know, taking over it now. I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes, but it's done really well to put Finn Balor back into a kind of a main roster angle that means something, or at least can mean something. Damian Priest is getting all the screen time he deserves. Rhea Ripley is getting all the screen time she deserves. And I think it's interesting. I've liked it. I've enjoyed it. And obviously the stuff with Rhea and Liv, as short-lived as it was.
Yeah.
Pun Nintendo. Liv's finally had a moment, and I think that was it's another one of those really nice things when you see it happen.
True. Have you heard the story of why they're pushing Liv Morgan now?
What's the story of why they're pushing her?
Because of Sasha Banks and Naomi leaving.
I don't like that sort of thing, though.
That's a Meltzer thing, so take it for what you believe with Meltzer. I'm surprised.
I just think that just really discredits like the hard work Liv puts in to say that she's getting a push because 2 other people left.
But she's getting massive pops every week. So
she's been getting pop. Yeah, she's been getting those pop. Let's not. I mean, is that genuine? Is it Meltzer?
Meltzer said it came from Meltzer. So, like I say, take it what you want with Meltzer.
Look, the fact is, long before Sasha and Naomi were leaving WWE.
Well, they're not left. They're not left yet.
Long before they walked out of WWE, Liv was getting massive pops. She was a fan favourite, and she was being put in women's title matches, which we genuinely thought she was a contender to win. And if it wasn't for Bianca Belair still needing that kind of comeback after the SummerSlam thing with Becky, maybe it would have happened then.
Probably.
Nah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all.
But would you, if say that even with the pandemic happening and that they didn't get rid of all like Ruby Riott, Ember Moon, all those other people, would she have got this far? Liv?
Ruby, the Riot Squad wouldn't still be there.
No, but I'm just saying, would Liv Morgan have got this push?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just, you think of any team, any successful team or faction, there's always going to be at least one standout from there that they want to be the focal point. And that's going to be the one that, like Shield was Roman, and it always was Roman from day one. Yeah. Seth has done incredibly well from it. Dean Ambrose did very well from it. But obviously, as Jon Moxley everywhere else, he's able to come into his own. But that's where this TV14 thing gets more interesting, depending on how far they want to go down that route and how much they want to sort of test and push the envelope, so to speak. Yeah. Because does that then open up the possibilities and likelihoods for any potential returns to WWE? Cody was a massive name to jump from AEW, the biggest name arguably they could have had. Not just because Cody was this big megastar, but because he was one of the founding fathers of AEW.
Yeah.
That's like the equivalent of a Triple H going over to AEW.
Which everyone thought was going to happen for.
Who knows?
But
well, it won't now.
No. But he's going to fight himself. He goes straight.
He's going to go over and he's going to tease the Crossroads for a year. Convince us all he's a face.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's a big thing. And I think that, depending on, I suppose, Cody's relationship with a lot of guys still in AEW. But, a Moxley might be able to thrive better in somewhere like that. And one person I think that really does raise a big question for, and it adds a lot more interest, as if there wasn't enough already, is everything going on with MJF.
Yeah.
MJF.
What about him, eh?
What about him? Well, why don't you tell us what about him at the moment? Because the contract is up in 2024, the bidding war of 24, isn't it? He calls it.
Yeah.
And he's made all these references to maybe going over to WWE, and everybody's always said, and rightly so, the MJF character as it is right now doesn't work in WWE, in a PG WWE.
No, and now that if TV14 is a thing,
exactly. So what's currently happened with MJF?
Well, it's all gone quiet after his shoot on Tony Khan. The Dynamite after Double or Nothing, wasn't it?
The Double or Nothing. Well, the whole thing's kind of started.
Well, Double or Nothing
just before Double or Nothing at the Fan Fest.
Yeah, when he legit no-showed at a
It was a fan fest, like a convention.
Fan Fest. Yeah, Fan Fest for MJF.
It was meant to be like the meet and greets and all that sort of stuff. And the story's going out is that he didn't show up. And other wrestlers got obviously very annoyed at him. And if it's all true, then obviously understandably so, they got very annoyed at him because other people then had to do double time and overtime and work extra and whatever. But it pulled into question, is he going to show up for Double or Nothing? And obviously he's going into Double or Nothing for his big match, really highly anticipated match with Wardlow. He does show up.
Yeah.
Gets squashed, which I think was right anyway.
I think it was going to happen anyway. I can't imagine it. I honestly couldn't imagine it being a 25-minute back and forth, really.
I think it was everything it needed to be.
Yeah.
Wardlow absolutely dominating him.
Which is another reason why I think it might be possibly ever work. But
I think there's elements of work in this, but he gets absolutely wrecked. I mean, Wardlow bodies him. Powerbomb after 10 powerbombs.
Yeah.
And then he gets an oxygen mask over his eyes.
That was funny.
Because,
But yeah, he gave the crowd a middle finger, so...
He did, yeah.
But I love that. My favourite part of the whole thing...
because he couldn't breathe.
Yeah. My favourite part of it was when MDF did the aeroplane, because there was a rumour that he was on a plane to get away from...
Yeah, he'd got his ticket to leave Las Vegas. But no, he's so you'd expect him to maybe be off TV for a bit, or if he's going to be on TV, then he's going to be selling his body's broken.
Well, to be honest, I was surprised he didn't get off the gurney and just walk away.
No, it was the next Dynamite. This is what cemented it, and this was a big Dynamite. So this was over in California.
Yes.
First time in the West Coast for AEW. It was a really, it's a big deal. Executives from Warner Brothers there. I think there was meant to be some big sort of after party type deal with drinks and meetings and all sorts, afterwards, I guess, business things. And we have an opening match, don't we? It's CM Punk and FTR in a 6-man against someone. I can't remember who it was.
The Gun Club and...
Might have been Gun Club.
Max Caster?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah. I think it was.
Comment down below.
Yeah. And then we have the MJF promo, which is now the pipe bomb.
Yeah.
Rightly so. What did you think about it? I know we're a bit late to this, but what did you actually think to this pipe bomb?
Some of it I like, some of it I didn't like.
What didn't you like? Do share.
The only thing it was only because what is this leading to? It can't be leading to MJF versus Tony Khan, right? Where is this going? That's one thing I want to know.
I think if it wasn't for the Punk injury, and I still think we're going to come back to it,
which happened after this promo. I think it was I think it happened after this promo that Punk got hurt.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So, like the idea of it is that it's going to lead to MJF versus Punk. I like the idea that CM Punk's pipe bomb is still one of the most watched clips on YouTube. It's still one of the most talked about things, at least from that era and that decade.
Yeah,
easily, and I think rightly so. That pipe bomb was gold. When that first happened, that was amazing. You never heard people talk about Ring of Honor on WWE TV. Not then.
No.
You never heard of people saying other wrestlers' names. Colt Cabana, wouldn't say it now. Colt Cabana, New Japan. You know what I mean?
Paul Heyman when
he wasn't there. Brock, John Laurinaitis. He brought all of these people in, back to the company.
Can I just say, there's a update on Brock Lesnar. It sounds like he's gone. I think gone. It seems like if Vince isn't there, I'm not there.
Wow. I wonder how many more is going to follow suit. Let's come back to it. Yeah. We'll come back to it because we'll check it again. The pipe bomb. It was great. CM Punk became white hot. Like, he really was the most exciting thing in pro wrestling for a while.
Exactly, for a while.
For a while. And then it didn't last.
No. Because
Kevin Nash, Triple H, that whole thing really bogged it down. Triple H going over him really didn't help. Him leaving the company after winning up Money in the Bank in what is, I still think, one of my favourite main event matches. Easily of the decade.
Until the Cody match with Seth at the Hell in a Cell, the last 5-star WWE, not NXT match.
Yeah. But apparently we don't listen to Meltzer because he's not very accurate, is he? So overall, it just wasn't quite. I think Punk still thrived, even though everything was against him. Despite everything that was, all the booking and everything else, Punk still made himself into a huge, huge star. Yeah. There's a reason people were chanting CM Punk when he wasn't even wrestling for 7 years and wanted nothing to do with it. There's a reason why the best moment in AEW so far is that Punk walkout when he returns.
Should be walk in.
Walk in, walk out.
Yeah. He hasn't walked out of them yet.
He's sort of Brock.
I was going to say, wasn't the best moment of all time in AEW history when Orange Cassidy punched Chris Jericho into a samosa?
No. Incorrect. But you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
Right? The whole thing, and I think now you can kind of circumnavigate back round again. It's just over 10 years. I mean, what? It's 11 years this year, yeah. 11 years. And to have MJF, who has had this incredible feud with Punk this year, incredible feud, then kind of take the torch, have his own pipe bomb moment, but this time do it right. Tony refuses to talk about MJF in any post-media scrums, in any interviews. Again, is it a work? Is it not? We don't know.
They've used MJF's name once or twice. Well, they referenced him once or twice.
But after the pipe bomb, the commentary team didn't even talk about it.
Well, they did that with Punk in WWE for like the week.
Exactly, but it was for the week. But this pipe bomb was how many weeks ago now? It's been over a month.
2 months?
2 months.
Yeah, it was 2 months because it was May, wasn't it?
2 months. MJF has not appeared or even been mentioned on AEW programming in 2 months.
Well, to be fair...
And if this is all a work, which obviously I hope it is because I love that MJF character, if this is all a work, this is being done really well. And if we are just waiting for Punk to come back, in answer to what you said, I think that's where it's leading to. We bring it back round to Punk, but this time it's MJF and he gets to do it properly. And that's like, is that not a good way of Punk giving back to the business? Because Punk still gets a lot of crap for that. And I think they lean into that with the storylines. They're obviously they're intelligent, they're smart, they know what people say about them and they know how to work us. And I love that. Like, we want to be worked as wrestling fans, right? We want to be able to enjoy it. And I like that we can sit and debate, is this MJF thing a work, is it not? Because then if he shows up, regardless where he shows up, it's going to be huge.
True.
But if there is genuine truth to this whole, he wants more money, he believes he's owed more money than what they're going to pay him, then and that he could then go over to WWE and take a contract from them, because I'm sure they would approach him.
True.
With a TV-14 WWE, the MJF character could still be very, very effective.
Plus, I know it's going off, but I want to see a TV-14 Kevin Owens, because after what I saw in his Ring of Honor run, and like before he came to WWE, and how good he was like that way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, but... You know.
Some of those Steen promos are gold. And I love the Owens stuff, don't get me wrong, but... You know, I think it does take a certain degree of skill to be able to pull off an edgy character in a PG environment. So for anyone that's been able to do that over the years, a lot of them probably don't get as much credit as they deserve.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes it's not, you just want to be entertained. I don't necessarily need to see people bleeding all over the place every 10 minutes. Like, I don't need to hear everybody say swear words like I'm a little kid again going, oh, they said it again.
Well, it's basically... Do you remember when there was like an episode of AEW?
I just want to be entertained, man.
There was an episode of Dynamite where like they said the S word like 100 times, literally.
There was, yeah. I mean, you get some like that, don't you?
But
I don't know. Some people just can't help themselves.
No. Going back to something we were talking about earlier about Edge. Apparently, when he comes back, he's going to become the rated R superstar.
So back with Metalingus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did read that somewhere.
But going back to TV-14 again, the internet was like, if TV-14 happened, we might get this Carmella Corey Graves sex celebration. Yes, it's. I think it happened on that YouTube show they did on WWE YouTube.
Oh God, I don't want that. I don't really want that.
I think they do.
Oh. Yeah, well, we all know what happened last time.
Yeah, it was the highest rated show they had for like 6 years, whatever they said.
In fairness, though, to what you're saying now, I do think one of the big things of TV-14 will be... I do think that the women will be...
What, bikini contests? That kind of thing?
No, see, this is what I mean. Like, I don't want it to go back to like where women aren't taken seriously in the ring.
I mean,
but I can see it going to a bit of an area where they're going to show off a bit more skin. Yeah. They're going to come across a bit more sexy.
Yeah, but that's called Instagram.
Yeah, but Instagram doesn't get views for WWE, does it? Really? You're not going to watch the product because, do you know what I mean?
No.
You're gonna, if you think, oh, they're going to be on and they're going to look like this tonight, then, do you know what I mean? I can see that happening, but I don't think we're going to be going back to like bra and panties matches and what was the other ones?
Well, like
bikini contests and all of that. I don't think we're going to go. We're not going to go back to what were they? The Muller Light catfight girls.
Yeah.
Versus Stacey Keebler and Tori Wilson. Was it a tag match?
I think it was a fatal 4-way, but then they pinned Jonathan Coachman, didn't they?
I think Hogan's the best.
Which one was that meant to be?
You go, well, I don't know. You meant to do it back.
Do you think? Well, I was going to say now that Playboy's not a thing anymore.
No, you're not getting out of that.
I am getting out of that.
You're not. Take your shirt off. I'm going to throw you around in a muddy pool, you dirty boy.
Once again, you can just You
can put up. What is there footage of that? Is there? Link it in the chat below. Oh God, I'm getting hot and sweaty. Yeah, no Playboy. But I could see that sort of thing coming back. And because Playboy's not the same as what it was before.
No,
it's not.
Is it still
fully,
a thing?
It's still a thing, but I don't think it's all like fully nude centre models and stuff now, is it? So I think it's different. Oh, product placement.
Yeah, I think it's like I say page 3 in the UK is the same thing. Wait, I mean like
page 3.
It's not on. You don't see it anymore, but it's online more than it is.
Well, speaking of Paige,
who?
Soraya.
Is that how you pronounce her name?
Soraya.
That's me.
Speaking to Soraya, Paige, could be going to AEW.
Apparently so. She's been talking with Tony Khan apparently about signing contract. I don't know if that's a wrestler or it's going to be as personality, like behind the scenes.
I wouldn't mind seeing her in AEW. To be fair, it's been a long time since we've seen her wrestle. As long as she's fit enough to do it and she's happy enough to do it.
What, 4 or 5 years since she had the second neck injury?
More than that, isn't it? Now.
I remember she came back with Mandy Rose and was it Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville she came back with?
Is it the? Did she?
She came back with.
She was with Kabuki Warriors.
I know that happened, but when she came back from the first neck injury, she came back. I'm sure it was Mandy Rose.
Was that when they were bringing people up from NXT and everyone was being brought up as like trios? Are you thinking of that?
No.
There was like Team Bad.
No, it was definitely like she came back. It was like the night after Survivor Series, I think it was. I want to say it was Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I might be wrong on that, but I remember that when she came back. And then she got hurt again like a few months later, thanks to Sasha Banks kicking her in the back during a match on a house show, and the neck went again and it went all bad, and then she just retired the night after Mania 35.
I honestly don't remember. I genuinely don't remember any of that.
Well, she became the GM of SmackDown.
So I remember from that
maybe
point.
Maybe it was 34, like Mania 34, because that's when
I thought it was. Yeah, I'm sure it was earlier, but
because Mania 34 is when Mania 33 when Brian came back. So it's probably then.
When did he come back?
33.
It's 34, isn't it?
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was 34. Yeah, it was New Orleans, wasn't it?
34. Yeah, maybe it was 34.
New Orleans, that's 30. That's 34.
Yeah.
Braun and Nicholas win the tag titles.
God.
Best tag match in WrestleMania history.
Might have been, yeah.
So, anyway, that was pretty much, I think, like the biggest bits of news we wanted to cover. There was obviously we had the unfortunate passing of Tim White and Dave Hebner within days of each other.
I know.
Really, that was really, really sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think anything we was going to do a quiz, but I mean, this whole Vince McMahon thing is it's taken over. Is there anything new on this? We'll do a quick phone check now.
All I'm saying is, it sounds like Brock has gone.
So Brock's definitely walked out.
He's walked out. It sounds like if Vince isn't in the company anymore, he doesn't want to be there.
I mean, I think it's I get the loyalty, but still, I don't know. It's kind of unprofessional, isn't it?
I say, would an Undertaker have done the same thing if he was still wrestling?
Yeah, I think he probably would.
Because watching,
is Brock going to be the only one to do it? I think a lot of the old kind of guard that would have been like blood pact with Vince.
There was a story that Vince tried to talk to John Cena like a few weeks ago, and Probably about doing Mania, because Cena can't do SummerSlam like everyone thought he was going to do, because he's going to do Peacemaker second series around the time. The Rock, rumored to be at Mania. That might not happen now if Vince is gone. There's probably going to be a lot. Because you always hear about like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels back in the day, saw Vince as like another dad figure to them. Taker said the same thing on the documentary. If Brock Lesnar says the same thing, then we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think that's probably it. I'm genuinely interested in what's going to happen on SmackDown.
I'm watching it.
I'm genuinely interested.
Do you think Michael Cole's going to say how unprofessional Brock Lesnar was to the camera? Pat McAfee's is going to be like, what?
Honestly, this is the most hyped up in for SmackDown in a long time. Really long time. Never anything like this ever. Vince is gone.
Yep.
Vince McMahon is gone. We should probably wrap things up. Call it a night. We're going to do predictions, I believe, aren't we? We've got
double enough. Not double enough. Because we talked about it, I'm thinking double enough. Death Before Dishonor.
Ring of Honor. Snap. I need a less creaky chair.
Yeah, right.
It was higher than me as well, making me look like a midget.
We are the same height, I think.
We are about the same height, but it doesn't look it on camera.
No.
Death Before Dishonor. Go on then, get your Wikipedia.
I'll whip it out. Should have done this.
You do realise that's why Vince has lost his job, don't you?
Why?
He whipped it out when he should have whipped it back in. Pearl. Okay.
Do you think he said? Do you think he when he if he does do an announcement, would be I'm retired?
Do you reckon he fired himself?
Probably.
Pearl, I'm fired. I don't know what happened there. It's just all in the throat, isn't it? But I'll listen to that back, and then I'll wish I never did it. Someone has to. Yeah, we appreciate all of our 4 listeners.
Right. That was on right. We have 7 matches, 1 pre-show. We'll start with the pre-show, obviously.
Let's not predict pre-show, because then if I don't watch the pre-show, what's the point?
Well, I'll just say it's Alison Kay versus Rio Nightingale.
All right.
That's the pre-show match.
Well, I ain't predicting it. So we'll just whilst Ashley's going through, he can pick what order he wants to read these out in. Need to explain to any new listeners that the prediction war is kind of a big deal. So the prediction war is the biggest thing in sports entertainment, especially now Vince has gone. It's the biggest thing in pro wrestling. There is nothing bigger. WrestleMania is close, but there's nothing bigger than the prediction war. Ash and I spend the whole year predicting shows. We have taken a bit of time off.
When was the last prediction? Probably Mania. We didn't do. Was it? Might even be like Rumple.
It might be Mania. But yeah, we do the predictions, and at the end of the year we see who wins. And basically, I'm winning. And I won last year as well.
No, you didn't. There's a picture of me with a trophy somewhere.
Photoshop. What we got? I'm going to win this anyway.
Right.
I'm very confident.
This is not in the order of Wikipedia, but I'm just going to say like probably how I would open the show, which is 6-man tag team match with the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team championship, which that's another title they're bringing in.
They're bringing back the 6-man tag team.
They're bringing so it's the Righteous, Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch. Sounds like people from Red Dead Redemption. versus Dalton Castle and the boys, Brandon Tate and Brent Tate.
I'm going to go for Dalton Castle and the boys.
What, new champions?
Yeah.
I'll go for retain then. We'll see. We've got Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia for the Pure Championship in Pure Wrestling rules.
I'm going for Daniel Garcia. I think this feud's still got a lot in it between Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho Appreciation Society, and that would be a good way of fueling it. And I, I love Wheeler Yuta, and I think genuinely I liked him anyway, but he wasn't like a standout for me by any stretch. And then this whole thing since Blackpool Combat Club, I think has done an incredible job of showcasing like how good he really is. And he's still a very young guy. He's early 20s, whole career ahead of him. The world's kind of his oyster. I think when people talk about the 4 pillars of AEW, and you talk about MJF, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, if you look at like a new generation, sounds weird, it makes them seem like they're all old, but like if you look at like a further 4 pillars of AEW, I think you're looking at Wheeler Yuta. I think you're looking at Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and 4th, depending on how they want to do it, but there's a couple you could throw in there, really. I mean, Hook's kind of a shoe-in.
I can see that.
Dante Martin does get still quite a nice, healthy push. And shame about Darius, again, that's just really rotten luck. But no, I'll go Daniel Garcia on that one, I think.
I've got another retain.
You think a retain
I think
as well?
retain, because I think because of what might happen later in the night, there might be another belt in the collection for the Combat Club. That's what I think, anyway.
It's sound.
Mercedes Martinez defending her women's title against Serena Deeb, who I swear has had a title shot every month in every company she's been in.
I would love to see Serena Deeb with the title, but I think Martinez will retain it.
I think she'll retain it. It just feels like, once again, with women in AEW, because they don't really use them, and I would have forgotten that Martinez is the women's champion until I just mentioned it.
That's some of that, though, isn't that just because like the Ring of Honor products, we're not seeing like a weekly product like we used to with it,
and we're still.
I think that it would help a lot more if they did.
But we are slowly getting like some Ring of Honor names sliding into the company.
I was thinking about the Jonathan Gresham thing, and this thing with Tully. A heel Gresham was. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I want him and Bryan Danielson.
If Bryan does recover from these concussions, it's like it sounds like he's got. Yeah. But I think we'll slowly get there.
We'll get there. I'm very much down for that, and I'm very much down for seeing getting this Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. match.
Do you think that'd be Wrestle Kingdom? That might be Wrestle Kingdom.
You think?
Yeah.
They could do. They could wait till that long to pull the trigger for it.
Because I can't see Zack Sabre Jr. just coming back randomly to appear.
No, unless they do another one. I thoroughly enjoyed Forbidden Door, by the way. I just want to put that out there. That was a very good show.
I don't want Zack Sabre Jr. to come back and lose again in AEW company. If he can do it, if it's in New Japan, fine, because it's their territory. But
I think I get that. I think they're probably going to do another joint show, and I think that one probably would be in Japan.
What, do like the third day, what they did with Noah?
They could do, actually. That's not a bad shout. Because the Noah thing was technically part of Wrestle Kingdom, but like
a few days later.
Like a bonus. Yeah, it was a few days later, and it wasn't part of the package like you bought the fight or anything. But yeah. Good stuff.
Seeing if we talked about Gresham, he's defending his Ring of Honor title against Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah. Claudio obviously debuting at Forbidden Door, taking over from Bryan Danielson due to his injury. Is this what you meant when you said about the Blackpool Combat Club?
I think Claudio's winning.
I think he is as well.
It's the way that he's just got a title shot by interrupting the promo he did on Rampage last week. I think that's what he's done, and he's got a title match.
I think the thing is for me with it is that it feels a bit too soon maybe for Claudio to take a loss, but if he was going to take a loss, then I think it would be good to do it against Jonathan Gresham, who's the current reigning defending Ring of Honor champion. And actually, he only won it at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view. That one is pay-per-view, by the way.
Yeah. Again, that was the Unification one, wasn't it? With Bandy O.
Great match.
Bandy O show.
I don't know. It seems it's a very safe bet to go for Claudio, but I don't know.
I'm still saying Claudio.
You got to go big in this life, Ash. I'm going to say Jonathan Gresham.
With help from
help from Tully and
Brian
Tully's
Cage.
squad.
Who else is in it? Brian Cage,
Nick Cage, Adam Page,
Christian Cage. I don't know what he's on about, but
I don't know. I can't remember who was in it. It was ages ago. Slept since then, but no, I'm going for it. Jonathan Gresham retaining.
Right, I'm saying
Gresham's my boy.
Samoa Joe defends his Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Sanjay Dutt. I think Dutt might win this one because
Joe's retaining it.
Once again, Samoa Joe, I forgot he was champion. He's been out he's not had a match in so long, it feels like. It feels like he's injured again.
But I think they are trying to make some guys more Ring of Honor stars than... You see what I mean?
Which is why I'd rather have...
I think it takes time to make an actual, to get it on TV. And
did I say Sanjay Dutt or did I say Jay Lethal?
You said Sanjay Dutt.
I meant Jay Lethal.
Well, that's why, yeah. So you can't change that.
Sanjay Dutt's going to come in.
You think Sanjay Dutt's going to cash in?
Hey, if it's a triple threat, I'm awesome.
He swore.
I said frickin'.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So frickin' Rollins is going to come in. No, I'm going for it. I'm saying Samoa Joe retains.
I'm going for DJ Lethal.
DJ Lethal. I reckon he's going to win it. Fred Durst is going to come out and show us his chocolate starfish.
I think Vince did that, didn't
We got.
And then I reckon this will be the main event. FTR defending the Ring of Honor tag titles in 2 out of 3 falls against the Briscoes, who have now announced to be part of Ring of Honor. So there's a possibility they might be in. I'm not saying that I think they're going to win because I think FTR have got so much momentum at the minute that you can't have them lose.
This whole 7-star FTR thing, I don't think you lose that straight away, do you?
But I think FTR is going to win, and if it goes how I think it's going to go, I reckon it's going to be a 50-minute match.
I think it could be a long one. I think honestly, the encounter they had at Death Before Dishonor. No, it wasn't.
Right, because we're there.
That's what we're predicting now.
Yeah.
Supercard of Honor.
Supercard of Honor. Final Battle was the year before. I keep getting it wrong. I keep calling it Final Battle.
My brain's gone. The battle they had at Supercard of Honor, I said this, I think I said this before, but like the opening bell and just the crowd, before they even touched, I had goosebumps. It was one of those moments where I was like, oh man, this is going to be... Because you can just tell, like when the crowd gets into it like that, you can see how that affects the guys in the ring. Like guys and girls in the ring, when a crowd's like that, like something else comes out of them because you work in the moment.
Yeah.
And that match was honestly, I think, one of the best tag matches I've seen. I had so much fun watching that. It's going to take some beating, but I'll tell you what, I am going to absolutely enjoy watching them try. And I hope they do, because
I honestly think it's easier once you've had a really good match to try and top it again, because you know that the crowd's going to be so pumped for it. It's just going to be...
And actually, there are plenty of occasions in the past where, the rematch or another match down the line has been even better than the original. Rock and Austin is one that comes to mind for me.
But the third one, the third one's better than the first.
The third one's very good, but the one from Mania 17 is the standout for me.
A lot of people are the same with Taker Michaels 26, which My favourite match of all time is Mania 25, but 26 is pretty up there.
Yeah. It's all part of taste, isn't it? But that's...
kind of like how the first Goldberg versus Lesnar match was awful, and then the second one
actually
was so much better.
Was actually all right,
and then the third one was probably like the best match of that Mania. The reason why I brought up Goldberg, he might be facing Roman Reigns. Yeah. It's rumoured that Goldberg is going to replace Brock Lesnar. Do you think Austin Theory might cash in his money in the bank tonight?
I don't care anymore. I don't care. I loved Goldberg as a kid. But no. Austin Theory though. Quick note on that. Whenever he cashes it, I want him to win it.
A lot of people are upset. I don't know if it's because he's a heel or because of his...
Why? You want new stars in pro wrestling.
Yeah, you do. And
you want brand new stars. You want people that are going to be homegrown talents. You want people that are going to be the future of the company. To stop the part-timers coming in because they're on enough stars. And you're going to get annoyed because a new guy has become Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
Wasn't that the whole point?
But aren't these the same people that go about all these ex-WWE guys winning AEW title?
Well... they're stars. What do you want?
Yeah,
you order those guys.
You put the belt on the guy that is gonna propel the company and the title.
Right, exactly, and that's like this interim title on Moxley. Makes complete sense.
It didn't at the time because it felt like he wasn't a number one contender or he wasn't close to being.
He's a former AEW World Champ.
But it could have been Hangman. Could have been Hangman.
Yeah, but then Hangman was given the IWGP World Title match, and his story worked better there than it did with Tanahashi. Moxley and Tanahashi already had a story from ducking, and I think it made complete sense. I'm happy with it, and we're going to get Moxley and Punk. And I don't think we can be mad about that, can we?
No. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. We appreciate everybody joining us on the show. I think that's probably it for today. We've got to get ready for SmackDown.
Yes.
An eventful SmackDown. This is a day in history. Yeah. Mark it on the calendars. July 22nd, 2022. 22!
Goldberg!
Is still active. And Brock Lesnar is not.
Also, another thing is
Vince McMahon wishes himself well.
Yeah.
In his future endeavours.
It's funny. The funny thing is, Goldberg in the last few days has mentioned that he wants to come back as well. Things are weird in wrestling.
Wrestling's very weird. But we do love it.
Sometimes.
We do love it. And we love you. And we appreciate you for spending your time with us this evening. Let us know what you thought about the show, and let us know what you think about SmackDown tonight. It'll be in the comments below. I've got no idea. We could probably do a prediction for SmackDown, but anything goes, I think, now at this point, including Brock and everybody else. So we'll see what happens, but we will catch you again hopefully next week. We've got a topic one coming up.
Yeah,
we might have to drop a couple different ones if we're going to cover some newsy bits and things, but we will have Stranger Rings, which was meant to be this one, but again, the Vince McMahon stuff has taken over. So, Stranger Rings will be our next podcast installment, where we will be discussing all of the most of the multi-ring matches. I don't want to put that tag on it just yet. Most of the multi-ring matches, like your war games and things of that nature.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at our most favourites and our least favourites. We've already caught a couple today.
Yeah, once the network was working.
When the network was working. And then we'll try and find those couple of ECW ones.
Hopefully.
Probably won't.
We'll see.
But until then, everybody, thank you very, very much for spending your time with us. Once again, if you could follow, subscribe, whatever the lingo may be, on whichever platform you are listening to us on, or if indeed you are on YouTube, drop us a like, do some comments, do all of that sort of stuff, what everybody says. I guess.
Yeah.
Vince is dead. Long live Vince. He's not actually dead. His career's dead.
Long live the Khan.
Long live the Khan.
I'm not telling you which one I think is the Khan I'm talking about, but long live the Khan.
See you later.
Oi.